Welcome back, everyone. Today we're going deep into the world of the gig economy,
Ooh, interesting.
specifically food and grocery delivery. We've got a whole bunch of sources, really fascinating stuff.
Okay.
First-hand accounts, straight from the gig workers themselves,
Wow.
plus some opinion pieces, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And our goal today is to go past the hype, all that marketing stuff,
Right.
and really see what it's actually like to do this kind of work.
I think that's really important. What often strikes me is how the gig economy, it presents itself as this amazing opportunity.
Oh, totally.
On the surface, it sounds great.
Yeah, you see the appeal right away. I mean, who wouldn't want that flexibility? To be your own boss, set your own hours,
Exactly.
maybe even make some pretty decent money.
And our sources, they definitely highlight those positive sides.
Oh, yeah.
That flexibility is a huge draw, especially for people who, are juggling other things.
For sure.
Or maybe looking for a side hustle, something extra.
Side hustle? Yep.
Mm-hmm.
One source even mentioned, earning 20 to 25 bucks an hour
Really?
during those peak times, when it's busy.
Wow.
That's pretty enticing.
That is. But, if we dig a little deeper into these sources, we start to see a kind of a different picture. One that's maybe not as rosy. One source talked about this concept of R dilution. Basically, the idea is your hourly rate, it actually goes down.
Wait, what?
The more hours you work in, like gig delivery.
So the more you work, the less you make an hour.
Yeah, kind of.
How does that even work?
Okay, so think about it. The longer you're, on the app, the more likely you are to have those downtimes between orders, right?
Makes sense.
You're less likely to get, those batch deliveries where you can do multiple orders at once.
Oh, right.
And you might end up having to work those less lucrative hours.
Like late nights or something?
Yeah, like the non-peak times, just to keep the income, flowing.
So it's you need to work more to make more,
Mhm.
but the more you work, the less you make.
Yeah, exactly. It's a real catch-22.
Ugh, that's rough.
And the source even gives some numbers, you might make 25 bucks an hour if you're dashing for 2 hours during the dinner rush.
Okay.
But then try to do a full 12-hour shift, you could be looking at 12 bucks an hour.
Wow, that's a big difference.
It is.
Makes you wonder if doing gig work full time, can you really rely on that?
That's a really good question, yeah. And it's not just about the hourly rate either.
Right.
What really hit me in these sources is how unstable the income is.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's a roller coaster, good days, bad days. You're really relying on tips.
Yeah, totally. There was this one story, someone's car got damaged
Oh no.
while they were doing a gig, and they had zero, no safety net,
Nothing.
no workers' comp, anything.
Oof. Yeah, that brings up the whole issue of benefits, which there really aren't any.
Right.
No health insurance, no paid time off, no retirement, anything like that.
It's a lot of uncertainty.
It is.
Wow.
Would you be comfortable with that?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah.
It's not just the money stuff either, right? There's a mental toll.
Oh, absolutely.
One source even said they felt like they were drowning working gig full time.
Wow. Yeah, and the sources mentioned boredom, doing the same thing over and over, and burnout. It's a lot of solo time.
Yeah, definitely.
Maybe isolating.
Plus, there's all the emotional stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Dealing with difficult customers, traffic, and having to keep those ratings high.
It's a lot to handle.
It is. One thing I found surprising was how much negativity is directed at gig workers,
Really?
especially delivery drivers.
That is interesting.
Yeah. In some of those reaction videos we have, they use terms like untouchable.
Untouchable.
Yeah. And there's even stories about customers avoiding eye contact or being dismissive. It's almost like there's this barrier.
Huh. A barrier between customer and worker.
Yeah. And I wonder, is it because of how gig work is often shown?
Mm-hmm.
This faceless on-demand service.
Right. You order, you get your food, no human connection.
Exactly. So maybe that anonymity, it plays a role.
It could be. It makes you think, will this stigma, will it keep growing as gig work becomes more common,
Yeah, that's a big question. It's definitely something to think about.
Definitely. Especially with all the other things happening in society.
Like what?
Anxieties about automation, jobs changing, income inequality.
Oh, right.
It's all connected.
So even with all these challenges, our sources do mention ways to make gig work more manageable.
Okay, good.
One thing that comes up a lot is cherry picking. basically only taking the best orders.
Cherry picking, that sounds nice.
Right. But how realistic is that?
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like it takes patience, being strategic, and probably some luck, too.
Hmm.
One source mentioned needing strong finances, to get through those times when good orders are scarce.
Yeah, you got to be able to handle the slow times.
Exactly. And having multiple apps to maximize your options.
Makes sense.
And a high tolerance for downtime. Like, you can't be desperate for any order.
Right.
And then there's the question of, what do you do during all that downtime?
Yeah, what do you do?
The source talked about distractions. You need something to keep you busy.
I like that, distractions.
Right. And this led to another interesting point. Not all gigs require driving.
Oh, really? That's good.
Yeah, one source talked about all these non-driving, even like semi-passive gigs.
Like what?
Mystery shopping, online tutoring, market research, even putting ads on your car.
Surprising amount of variety.
Right? So maybe there's a gig out there for more people than we think.
That's a good point.
And while these non-driving gigs might have their own downsides, like lower pay or whatever, it might be a better fit for some folks. It's all about finding what works for you.
Exactly. There's no one size fits all with gig work.
Totally. It's important to go in, like
Yeah.
eyes wide open,
Yeah,
know the good AD, the bad.
absolutely.
And remember, it's always changing. What works today might not work tomorrow.
It's a fast-moving world out there.
It is. And we're going to keep exploring it right after this.
Can't wait. And that leads to a really big question. One of our sources brought this up, and it's like, if gig work is becoming less of a side hustle
Yeah.
and more of a necessity for people, what does that even mean for society? The big picture.
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
No easy answers there.
Right.
But it's definitely something we all got to be thinking about.
Yeah.
Especially as traditional jobs change and more people are doing gig work, not because they want to, but because they have to.
Exactly. And as we go deeper into these sources, even more stuff comes up about the reality of this work.
Oh, like what?
One thing that really stuck out is this whole tip baiting thing.
Ugh, tip baiting. Yeah, that's awful.
It is. For those who don't know, how would you explain that?
So it's like a customer places an order
Right.
and they put in this huge EE tip, like just to lure the driver in.
Yeah, like $20 or something crazy.
Exactly.
Right.
Often it's for an order that nobody wants, like it's slow or it's going way out of the way.
Right.
So the driver sees that big tip and they're like, okay, I'll take it.
Hook, line, and sinker.
But then what happens?
Well, the food gets delivered,
Right.
and the customer who never planned on actually paying that tip,
Ugh.
they just go into the app and change it.
To like 0 or almost nothing.
Yep.
So the driver gets screwed. They end up with just the base pay.
Which is already low.
Yeah, and that's even before you take out gas and all the car expenses.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And the worst part is, a lot of times the driver can't do anything about it.
really.
The work is done, and the platforms, they don't always have a good way to fight those tip changes.
That's messed up. Is there anything drivers can do to protect themselves?
There are a few things. One source said, watch out for orders that seem too good to be true.
Yeah.
Like if the tip is huge EE for a simple delivery,
Yeah.
be careful. That tip might disappear.
So be skeptical.
Exactly. Trust your instincts. If something feels off, better to skip it and wait for another one.
Smart. What else?
Pay attention to the total tip amount.
Not just the percentage.
Right, because someone might try to hide a low tip with a high percentage.
Oh, sneaky.
Like 20% on a $5 order is only $1.
Yeah, you think you're getting a good tip, but it's nothing.
Exactly. Look at the dollar amount. That tells you the real story.
Do the math in your head before you accept.
Yep. So we've talked about the appeal, the downsides, the ways to handle it. What else do these sources say about the reality of this kind of work?
One theme that came up a lot, Toy, was safety.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Especially driving, there's inherent risk.
Absolutely.
And drivers, they got to be proactive.
Totally. And we're talking about more than just tip baiting here. It's physical safety, road hazards, even like dealing with difficult customers.
One source really emphasized good driving habits.
Yeah.
Like seatbelt, speed limits, paying attention.
Common sense, but it's easy to forget when you're rushing.
Totally. Another tip, use a second navigation app.
Besides the one the gig app gives you.
Exactly, like Waze. If the main app glitches or leads you wrong,
Oh, that's smart.
especially in places you don't know.
Makes sense.
Plus, it's a backup if your phone dies or loses signal.
True. You never know.
One source even said to carry a paper map
Really?
and a compass, old school, just in case.
Wow, yeah. Technology is great, but it's not perfect.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Having a low-tech backup, it could be a lifesaver.
It could. Speaking of backup plans, the sources also talked about roadside assistance.
Oh, right.
When you're driving that much, breakdowns are bound to happen.
Flat tire, dead battery, whatever.
Exactly. A reliable way to get help fast, it can minimize the downtime.
Less stress, too, especially if you're losing money while you're waiting.
Absolutely. Be prepared for the unexpected. That's the key.
Yep, peace of mind. And speaking of being prepared, another tip.
Okay.
Avoid driving in bad weather unless you're really confident.
Especially if your car isn't equipped for it.
Right, like snow, ice, flooding.
It's just not worth the risk.
Yeah, sometimes it's better to just stay home.
Safety first.
So, we've covered a lot, the good, the bad,
Mm-hmm.
but we got to talk about the money stuff.
The financial side of things.
Right. It's what draws people in, but it's also a source of, like, confusion and frustration.
Totally. We touched on arvolution.
Yeah.
What other money realities do gig workers need to know?
One of the biggest things, the income is unpredictable.
You said roller coaster before. That's a good way to put it.
Right. Your earnings could be up one week, down the next, even day to day.
Makes it hard to budget.
Yeah, for sure. And then there's no benefits, no health insurance, retirement, all that.
One source said, you really need a good financial base before starting gig work.
Like a safety net.
Exactly. Having some savings, it can help you through the slow times.
And avoid going into debt.
Right. And it gives you the freedom to be picky about the gigs you take.
Only take the good ones.
Yeah. And then there's taxes.
Ugh, taxes.
Right. Gig workers, they're usually independent contractors. Meaning they gotta pay self-employment taxes.
Which is different than, like, a regular job.
Yep, no taxes taken out automatically.
So you gotta set money aside all year.
Or you'll get a big bill later.
Yikes. Keep good records.
Definitely. And maybe even talk to a tax person.
So it's not just about driving and making money.
There's a whole business side to it.
Okay, so we've talked about the challenges.
Mm-hmm.
But let's be fair, there are some good things too.
Oh, for sure.
The sources did mention some real benefits.
Like what?
Flexibility, being your own boss.
That's huge for a lot of people.
Right. Set your own hours, choose your gigs, work from anywhere.
Big advantages.
And for some people, it can be a way to, like, follow their passions.
Oh,
Learn new skills, even start a business.
yeah.
One source said gig work helped them get more confident, learn about different industries, meet new people.
That's great.
Valuable experiences.
They are. And let's not forget, you can earn good money.
True. If you're smart about it, build a good reputation.
Some people are making a living, supporting families, reaching their goals.
So it's complicated, there's nuance.
Definitely. It's not for everyone, but it works for some.
It depends on a lot of things. Your situation, the platform, even the economy in general.
Lots of factors.
It's going to keep changing. We got to keep watching how it all plays out.
For sure. Yeah. It's shaping how we think about work.
Absolutely. It feels like we're just scratching the surface, you know?
It really is.
There's so much to think about with this whole gig economy thing.
It is. It's always changing too. The future is who knows.
So for anyone listening, thinking about maybe trying out gig work, what advice would you give based on everything we've seen?
I think the first thing is you got to know what you want. Like, what are your goals? What's your financial situation like? How much risk can you handle?
Those are good points.
Don't just jump in without thinking. Do your research, look at different platforms,
Right.
talk to other gig workers, get the real scoop.
Yeah, those real stories, that's valuable.
It is. And don't be afraid to try different things.
Okay.
Different types of gigs. See what fits you.
Right, what you're good at, what you like.
Exactly. And remember, you're not stuck. You can always change things up.
That's true. You can adjust as you go.
You learn as you go.
Exactly.
And one last thing, this really stood out to me from the sources.
Okay.
Self-care. It's
Yeah.
so important.
Oh, yeah, in any job, but
Yeah.
especially with gig work.
It's true. It's easy to get caught up in the hustle, always be on.
Right.
But taking care of yourself physically, mentally, emotionally,
That's essential.
it is. It's the key to making it work long term.
Make time for fun stuff.
Yes.
Connect with people. Give yourself a break.
Exactly. Because at the end of the day, gig work should help you thrive, not just survive.
Well said. So there you have it, folks. Our deep dive into the gig economy.
All the ups, all the downs.
The realities, the strategies, the whole 9 yards.
Hopefully this gave you a better idea of what it's all about.
Being a gig worker in 2025, it's a whole new world.
It is. And the choices you make, they're yours.
Absolutely. Until next time, keep learning, keep exploring, and keep diving deep.